Everybody, it's Stefan Gunning here, and today we are going to have a look at a very interesting and a very important approach, which is the pain versus pleasure approach. And I believe that this approach forms part of our basic human nature. Okay, and then first of all, I'm going to give a traditional approach or a traditional definition to this. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail into that. And then an updated approach, which might sound very similar, but is fundamentally different, and I think will really help in the motivation part of pain versus pleasure. So let's have a look at the traditional definition of this approach. And that being that we basically weigh two aspects every time we make a decision in life, and we do this subconsciously. And those two things being that will we gain pleasure from doing this, or will we gain pain? And we are more inclined as human beings that if we have a decision at hand, we will look, rather than avoiding pain, we follow that path of least resistance. We will rather avoid the pain than we will to gain pleasure. Okay, now we will look back at this later in the video, but first of all I want to give you my updated approach of this, and that is that I believe that all decisions that we make in life is based on eventually achieving pleasure, and that's all goals that we make is to achieve pleasure, and we basically have to go through pain to achieve that pleasure. Okay, and if the pain that we go through begins to outweigh the pleasure of the end results, we will not do this. We will not go through and achieve that goal if the pain we go through is going to be too much. Okay, so again, we tend to look at pain versus pleasure also in the short term rather than on the long term. So let me take an example. If you decide that you want to ask somebody out, if it's whether you're a woman or a man watching and you want to ask somebody out, let's weigh those two elements, the pain versus the pleasure. Now we look at the short term pain, which is going to be disappointment. We're going to feel rejected and insecure about ourselves if the answer is going to be no, and that is more often than not, it is a short term sense of pain. When we weigh it to the short term feeling of excitement and you going on that date, we don't look at the long term saying, oh, this could lead to love, this could lead to a relationship or even marriage. We tend to not look at those things. We just say, no, the pain is going to be way more than the pleasure, and we are scared, and then we abandon those things. Now, of course, we all, as human beings, have a different understanding of what causes us pain. So if we take that same example, a very shy person that has had bad experiences in the past, they will tend to feel more pain. They will be more scared, and they will usually not go through this. They have a different understanding of that pain in that certain situation. This goes through fitness, this goes through all aspects of life. Okay, where a very confident guy in that situation, which feels good about himself, will not go through a lot of pain. Thus, the pleasure outweighs the pain in that certain situation. He will not feel as rejected. He will just go on with his life. And thus, that's where you see confident guys just doing things like this on a regular basis. They are not scared because they do not feel the same amount of pain. Okay, this can be on many different aspects of your life, how you were raised, past experiences. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, now let's take a step back, and we can draw this to other aspects of life. Let's have a look at diets and diet plans and exercise plans. If you think about it, basically what these things are trying to achieve, these plans, is to decrease the amount of pain you have to go through, the end result being the same, that you want to be or fitter or thinner. Doesn't matter. These diet plans tend to focus on reducing the pain. It can be through support from somebody or from a trainer, but yeah, usually it's just to reduce that amount of pain. And this is what brings me to my next point, which is that, yes, as I mentioned, we all have a different understanding of pain, but also we all have a different understanding of that pleasure. If you are really, really driven to be a fit person, if you see that, oh, this is going to really aid in my happiness, then you are going to have a larger sense of pleasure, and thus you will go through and you will withstand a larger degree of pain to achieve that pleasure. Why? Because if we take a look at the scales, the pleasure is definitely worth it if you feel very strongly about it. Okay, now what you may ask yourself, okay, now if I know this, how is this going to aid in my life in general and in motivation? Well, first of all, I want to start off by saying that by actually knowing this approach now, knowing this is how we subconsciously make our decisions, is through the pain versus pleasure principle, then you can go about changing this. Now you can take a step back, look at it from a different standpoint, a more logical standpoint, and tell yourself, no, okay, now if I want to go to the gym, then it's really going to outweigh the pain I have to go through. I need this now. I need to go through this. Okay, but then again, if you're at a certain state of your life where these kinds of things is not important to you anymore, whether it's maybe getting a raise, if you're having different aspects, your family is more important to you, then it is okay to tell yourself, oh, I'm just not seeing the pleasure aspect. I'm not seeing it right now in this stage of my life. I'll go back to that later and rather focus on things that are more important to you right now. Why? Because you are more intended, or you will have a larger motivation, because that pleasure is going to be greater than the pain you have to go through. Okay, now of course we all have different drivers and things that might aid in that pain. Like if you are motivated at that stage, the pain is going to decrease and you can thus go through it. And now if we also have a look at the short term versus the long term, now we have to go through short term pain to gain long term pleasure. That is something that we have to do. And my video, I don't know if you saw it, if you haven't, check out the link below. My video on goal setting and setting a mission statement touches upon this. Is setting these short-term goals and telling yourself, I need to go through these short-term pains to achieve that mission being something that you feel so strongly about that you'll do anything to get it. Okay, well, that is going to be it from this video. I'm definitely going to be touching on this pain versus pleasure a lot and many videos to come, and I think I'm also going to have a few parts of this where we can go into a lot more detail and the things that what causes us pain and how we can start eliminating these things that they don't cause us that much pain anymore. And lastly, I want to say, remember that you often do not have the power, or we all don't have the power necessarily at all times to look at the pleasure and increase the pleasure. We can't physically do that, but what we do have control over is reducing the pain by becoming more motivated and making all these aspects part of your daily life. If you start going to the gym or doing certain things that might cause you pain initially, but if you get used to it and they start forming part of your habits, then the pain is also going to reduce, and you're going to be able to do this on a more regular basis and not think about it that much. It's not going to drain you that much. Okay, so that is it from me from this video, and I will see you all soon. Remember to keep the community page posted. Anything that you want to add from this video, if you want to post some updates on how it's helped you, if you say, no, I don't agree with this, just share anything that you really want on that community page. I see it is going very well there. And then I will see you all in the next video. Take care now.